Welcome to this week in the world of wrestling.
Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary, Ashton, and this is our Monday Night Raw review, the go-home Raw before Elimination Chamber this Sunday. And I gotta say, this Raw wasn't anything spectacular, not anything really exciting to write home about, but if we are to take it as a go-home show before a WWE Network special event this Sunday, which again it was, I feel like it achieved its objectives. It added some matches to the card that I feel like got decent build considering their placement. The main feuds, I think, got furthered nicely. Some very entertaining segments involving the main event feud. And, this is really just kind of the bridge between Payback, which we just got done having, and Money in the Bank, which is coming up in June. So I feel like in terms of building up Chamber and really hyping it up, this Raw really did its job. So I have no complaints.
Yeah, this Raw was above average, even if only barely. It was, like, if I had to grade it, it would be in, like, the 6.5 to 7-ish range on a scale from 1 to 10. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but when you think about the fact that it is a go-home show, I guess that the sort of crux of that is that, sure, it's a go-home show, but it's not a go-home show to a pay-per-view. It's a go-home show to a network special, and you don't really need to sell the network, you don't really need to sell the network this month because it's May, and they have May for free.
Right.
So, like, if you want to see this show, you're going to be able to do so for free. So it's not really like, I don't know. It just seems like May 31st is about the dumbest possible time for them to have a big network exclusive pay-per-view type show.
When you really put that into consideration, Ashton, you consider the things that are certainly going on right now, you gotta wonder if any of that's going to carry over into Money in the Bank. If Chamber in itself isn't just build towards the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, and if that's going to be a really colossal show, because that'll be in June, and then, of course, there are no free offers there. You'd have to pay for the network for whatever you're getting.
Right.
But I digress. Let's get right into our first segment to keep the conversation going. Heat of the night. Really no heats of the night, not even really any nitpicks. I wasn't agitated by anything on this show, so really nothing to say there. What about you, Ashton?
No, I don't really have any heats of the night. Trying to think. I don't think I even have any nitpicks. This show was not great, but they didn't really do anything that was really bad either.
Yeah, I have to agree. Nothing more to really say about that, so with that, let's roll right on through.
I would say my biggest issue with this show was having Kevin Owens and Zack Ryder in the same segment, and Zack Ryder didn't get powerbombed.
My dreams, they're denied for another night.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, is like when that's my biggest problem with the show, it wasn't that bad.
Exactly. So with that, again, let's roll right on through to our Monday Night Raw review. And
you know what? No. I just thought of something.
Okay, let's have at it.
I have a problem with the way they're handling this Lana storyline.
Okay, what's the problem?
Well, the idea generally, the sort of consensus is that Lana is supposed to be this strong woman who is a role model for women and little girls around the world, right?
Right.
Why is she jumping from one man to another? Why can't she just go without a male for a while?
Well, I think that all comes down to, if we're going to go there, and that's, interesting waters to go, I don't really know if it's so much male dependency, if it's just a woman having the freedom of choice to explore an attraction. Right. It's not like she's coming to Ziggler to protect her from Rusev or anything. We saw tonight.
Is she, though? That's kind of the thing. Like, we don't really know her motivations. I guess that's... I think it's gotten to a point now where I'm only making this a heat of the night because I don't trust the WWE to be as good as Lucha Underground.
And that's fair. That's fair. Here's the thing, right? SmackDown, I believe, last Thursday, you had a segment between Ziggler and Lana where they were kind of flirting a little bit, but Ziggler straight up said, I know what you're trying to do. I know why I've gotten roped into this. You want to make Rusev jealous. Now, I hope that's not the case. I think the worst thing you could do is have Lana kind of have Ziggler wrapped around her finger only for Rusev to strike and they take the Intercontinental Championship or whatever they're planning to take from Dolph Ziggler. I think that would be an awful direction to take it because I've seen the pro-feminist tweets from Lana. I loved what she did with Rusev tonight, which we'll get into later a little bit. For now, I just think it's a woman, being liberated for the first time and doing what she wants. If it was a matter of running to Ziggler for every little thing, then yeah, it would come off as male dependency and it would really dilute all the great things that Lana's doing. But if anything, I just look at Ziggler as more a symbol of her, newfound empowerment. Like, I'm away from Rusev, so now I can do what I want and be with who I want. And Ziggler's an active choice. And I think that that should be specified. So,
yeah,
it's kind of...
I think, like, again, I want to just kind of re-emphasize, I think that my biggest problem here is that I just plain don't trust the WWE to turn this into a storyline where Lana actually is the person who is kind of in control and she's not dependent on anyone, and I'm just worried more than anything. So I guess it's less of a heat of the night or a nitpick and more of just like a preeminent rather than heat of the night or nitpick.
Exactly. It's more a concern for the future than any gripes with the present.
It's more like it's honestly it's the same way that I felt when the New Day first became an idea, not even a thing, just an idea. Because when they first, like when Xavier Woods first had that little the segment where he came out dressed in the all white with the red tie on, and he was talking to Kofi and Big E and preaching all this great like Malcolm X level philosophy. I knew you would love it, but I immediately thought there's no way the WWE is going to book this in a way that actually is going to work. And realistically, they didn't, but they lucked into something that kind of fell into their lap that did work. But still, it was horrible for so long.
You know what's funny, Ashton, and I really don't mean to take us down a rabbit hole, right? So if you feel like we're going there, just stop me at any time.
Oh, please, I'm not going to stop us from going down any rabbit hole.
But I feel like a lot of people are watching WWE right now in terms of their women because of NXT, and I feel like they've got to handle Lana very carefully here.
Yeah.
If they screw it up like you're saying they are. Because Carmella just had a great moment standing up to Blurfy.
And that right there, I honestly, I don't know if we were even in a call at the time, but when that did happen, I said straight up, oh, wow, she's standing up for herself. It worked to get Carmella over. I wonder if it'll work for her. And there's just a difference because, like, I don't know, this was one segment, whereas with Carmella, they were harassing her for weeks. And it has a different feel to it. And we still don't know her motivation. I think that's the main thing is why exactly is she hanging around Ziggler now? Or if it's just a physical attraction thing, I don't know if I'm necessarily behind that either, but regardless, I guess that kind of makes a little bit more sense than, oh, she's trying to make Rusev jealous. That's the dumbest thing.
I think where your discomfort really lies then to kind of try and sum it up in a word or a sentence is the ambiguity of it all. I think if things were more clearly defined, Lana's motivations, the direction, everything else. But WWE better be careful here because, again, between Carmella having that breakout moment where the crowd finally accepted her and was behind her, and you could say was very, again, pro-feminist with, the no means no and the creeper and standing behind a woman being comfortable. And then, Becky Lynch and Sasha tearing the house down. Women are kind of taking over a little bit in WWE right now if you look at the NXT landscape. And Lana, I mean, you and I have been reading the reports all over. She's kind of this pet project, right? Because she's supposed to be at the helm of whatever's going to become of the Divas division in the future. They want her to be megastar for this division. So I think a lot is going to be revealed to us about a lot more than just in the context of the storyline with how Lana is handled. And I can only hope that she is handled with dignity and her character, possesses strength, conviction, courage, and isn't just, everything that we may be fearing or come to expect. So here's to hoping.
Yeah. I think that it really does kind of come down to the WWE has never proven that they are able to write a woman effectively or realistically for that matter. So I have reason to be skeptical that they're going to somehow pull it out of their asses this time.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you aired them here. That's what this segment is all about. So with that said, do you have anything else you want to say?
Not that I can think of, but I couldn't think of anything the last time you asked me that either. So let's just go.
Yeah, let's just go do this. We're live from the Nassau Coliseum tonight. Apparently the last show this is going to have because it's going to be torn down. And we open things up. How else? with the Authority. I'm sorry, every week, man.
Do you know what would have been glorious?
A cold open, some kind of
If
match.
they would have opened this show with Rusev.
That would have been cool.
Frickin' Memorial Day, and you open your show with Rusev. You want to talk about getting nuclear heat?
Somebody, I think, even said on TWitWoW that when Eden was calling for, the Pledge of Allegiance or whatever, Rusev should have cut her off.
Yeah.
And, that would have been monumental. And we got some things to say about Rusev, which I'll be, curious to get to later. But we do open up with...
He's literally becoming Archer.
Yeah.
Lana!
Yeah, great reference. But I gotta say here, despite my agitation with the fact that it's the Authority, I really do love Seth Rollins as a heel. And I think he did some great work tonight.
His heel work is so on point. The fact that he used Justin Bieber to get heel heat, just genius.
Well, yeah, he turned it around on him, right? And I'll be honest, I cringed a little bit when I'm like, oh, he's going to bat for Bieber. But then I quickly realized, my God, that is genius. That is just so genius. But we're getting ahead of ourselves because Rollins pretty much says the crux of this promo, just to get through it, that Dean Ambrose, he's a lunatic. And this championship match that he got, he got it from the Authority under duress. And therefore, it shouldn't be considered legitimate. He was making threats. It wasn't a legitimate way to get to a championship match. Therefore, it should be null and void. And, Rollins said the Authority could have done that. Triple H and Stephanie could have done that. But I told them not to. Instead, and I think it was Triple H that said, we have this contract to make it official, but you have got to affix your signature to it by the end of the night. And Rollins says, it doesn't matter, what happens because you're not really a threat to me anyway. But then Ambrose comes out. They have a little bit of back and forth. And yes, Ambrose says, Seth, when I become WWE World Heavyweight Champion, you're going to be left drunk dialing Selena Gomez because you'll always be our little Justin Bieber. That's how those chants got going. And then Seth turns it around saying, what's so bad about being Justin Bieber? He's the greatest artist of his generation. All the women want him. He's got all the money he could want. And yet deep down, he wishes he could be Seth Rollins. So again, he brings it back to him. I love it. So, Seth finally getting that monkey off his back, which was great, which Kane started. So thanks a lot for that, Kane. And ultimately we get Ambrose coming down to the ring because he's like, yeah, what's the worst that can happen, me trying to sign that contract right now? He goes at it with the Authority a little bit before Roman Reigns comes out, and I don't want to say evens the odds, but I mean, it's Ambrose and Reigns, so I guess, kind of. And Stephanie's like, oh, it's so cute that the Shield brothers, they've been inseparable, and how about we see that in action? It is going to be you guys against Kane and Seth Rollins, and the audience won't have to wait for that match because it's going to happen right now. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this segment. Again, it was just building up Ambrose and Rollins. I thought it did an effective job of it. Again, Rollins turning the whole Justin Bieber thing around on the crowd. Excellent heel work. And Ambrose's pops from this crowd. It's great to see him back in that top babyface kind of tier, even if in this one city. So that was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Can I just say, though, I actually kind of laughed a little bit. Stephanie McMahon said that she was setting up the main event.
Yeah.
And then immediately it was, that match happens right now.
So you can all go home after this because it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, by the time this talking segment and the match were over, it was 9:15. Not even joking.
I know. See, that's what irritates me, though, about these talking segments. They always take up such an obnoxious chunk of time.
Well, not only that, but the match was obnoxious. They gave the match main event time.
Yeah, really. And speaking of the match, we might as well talk about it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun back and forth, especially the interactions, towards the tail end between Rollins and Ambrose, where Ambrose...
I'm not going to lie, man. I barely even remember this match.
I only really remember the finish, to be honest with you. And Ambrose got the backslide on Rollins, and he gets the pin, so Ambrose pins Rollins again.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm straight edge. I already have a horrible memory. I don't even know what I would be like if I smoked weed a lot.
I know, right? But yeah, Ambrose pins Rollins again. I like this idea. I really like how they protect and treat Dean Ambrose when they know they're going to put him in a main event level spot. They're like, no, it can't be LOL Dean Ambrose loses. We got to give him some wins under his belt. And this is the second time now in the span of, I believe, over a month that he's pinned Seth Rollins. So, really cool that they're giving him that kind of a rub, if you will. And then we come back from break, and we see Renee Young backstage with Dean Ambrose, and she, inquires about the contract. J&J Security shows up,
How you doing, hubby?
Yeah, really, right?
See you at the hotel later.
Wow. Security shows up, and Jamie Noble says, hey, we brought the contract. And then, him and Mercury are kind of, ruffling around for it. And then...
Can I just say, Joey Mercury's shtick is my favorite in the WWE right now.
Just that whole silent kind of thing.
He's literally Silent Bob in the form of a bald man.
It's wonderful.
I cannot wait for the day that he finally speaks and says just the most enlightening philosophical stuff that we've ever heard coming out of the mouth of a WWE employee.
I know, right? It's going to be epic. Whatever
he's going to put Raven to shame.
I know, the profundity, nobody's going to be able to handle it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. I'm not even joking. He is going to blow some minds.
But, we see that Jane and Security come up. Jamie Noble says, we got the contract. They ruffle around for it. Jamie Noble says, well, slap my head and call me Sally. We don't seem to have it with us. Guess you won't be signing that contract, maybe. Jamie Noble's hilarious with his speaking patterns and everything else.
He is so good, yeah. Dean Ambrose promptly actually does call him Sally and then slap him in the head. And someone on Reddit goes, Jamie Noble just got slapped so hard I think Nydia felt it.
Oh, God. Ambrose, as you said, says, don't worry about it, Sally. Bam, smacks Noble in the head. He goes out of J&J Security. He inadvertently elbows the cameraman. The cameraman gets taken down. Ambrose is frustrated, like, oh, why you gotta do that? I think he even asked the guy that. And he just seemed regretful that he punched that guy. I think even more regretful that there was no contract. I think Ambrose was just thinking, oh, man, how am I going to get this title match? So, yeah, the Authority's still playing mind games with Ambrose here. Pretty cool segment. J&J Security's hilarious. Get a video package for Owen Cena, which was really well done. Yes. I really cannot wait for this match at Chamber.
I know. That's literally, like, that and the tag team match. Those are the only two matches I give a crap about at the Elimination Chamber. I don't even care about the Intercontinental Championship match because it seems, well, I'm not even going to say what it seems like a foregone conclusion is going to happen because that'll be reserved for our preview and predictions on Saturday. But to me, the result of that match seems like a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, and nice plug there, by the way. What was that?
Sell them tickets, baby.
Oh, you know it. All day, every day. So then after that, we get Rusev versus R-Truth. Does anybody, even care? I mean, R-Truth got decimated here.
It's good to see, though, that Rusev is back to his, going back to his roots.
Definitely. I think
And I'm not even talking about Bulgaria. I'm talking about beating up black men.
Oh, really?
Do you not remember literally the first 2 months of his main roster career?
Yeah.
It was R-Truth, Kofi Kingston, Biggie, just constantly.
I know. So yeah, he's gone back to his Bulgarian colors, which I was getting ready to say when I thought, that was going to be the thoughtful words imparted here. That I think
that too, though. I mean, that's pretty cool too. He really is going back to his roots in so many ways.
Yeah, I think it also shows, though, on a certain level, how influential Lana was over Rusev. I mean, I think it even was her that made him the hero of the Russian Federation.
Man,
so I think
Rusev is such a chameleon boyfriend. He just gets into whatever the girl he's with gets into.
Yeah, but that really shows where the power really lies in the relationship, despite the fact that Rusev's a brute. So
the Bulgarian
brute. Ah, God. So yeah, he wins by submission with the accolade, and I mean the descriptor here from what I'm reading even calls it an easy win. I mean, what else more do you need to know, really? He gets on the mic and he yells for Lana again to Ashton's point, pulling an Archer.
Lana,
comes out and
Danger Zone.
He says, hey, look, I know you care about me no matter what happened, and I know you and I, we can crush America's spirit, and we can go back to being dominant. All you have to do is, take my hand. Fans actually do chant no, so they are behind Lana here, so I guess they're trying to kind of recreate that NXT moment with some success, but again, completely different scenarios to Ashton's point earlier. Lana does take it, and see, I did kind of have a gripe with this. I wish she would have just stood firm from the beginning, but, it's whatever. She hugs Rusev, and then Rusev says, now all you need to do is say the 3 magic little words, and Lana's, like, beaming, thinking, oh, it's going to be I love you or something, and then Rusev with a smile, I was wrong, and...
But that's not even the cadence he said it. It was the really long pause. It was, what is he gonna say? Was wrong. Oh!
Dun, 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 dun. So yeah, Lana,
So good.
her face immediately sours, and she says that she wasn't wrong, and because Rusev did quit, and Rusev.
Just to be clear, everybody, he didn't actually say I quit. He said I give up multiple times.
And then he reverts back to his scummy self, saying that she's a liar and he never quit. He says she needs to know her place and that he owns her.
Oh, and that was another really heelish thing that he said during the promo prior to the old, I was wrong line. He said, you did it because you're a woman.
Oh, wow. I'm just getting so many flashbacks from Bobby Roode and Miss Brooks, just some of the things Rusev saying to Lana, but,
oh my god. I was like, wow, this guy is the scummiest of scum, and it's great.
I know. And, she says that, Rusev is a liar and a quitter. She says he's so cowardly he can't take responsibility for his own actions. She belongs to no one, and she's no longer Rusev's victim. So I like the language here. I really do. I think it really drives home the point that this was not a reciprocal, mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah.
Lana says he's never going to listen to Rusev's caveman crap again.
She goes a little further than caveman, but yeah.
And
it was like caveman. Oh, what all did she say? There were like 5 different words, and she ended with moronic.
Nice. Ziggler meets Lana on the stage, and they kind of have a little mini make-out session as Rusev looks on, just in shock.
Not quite as awkward as last week, but still pretty freaking awkward.
Yeah, because Rusev actually met his cue. He was able to, call out Lana and be in the driver's seat on this one. So, now Ambrose is backstage when Rollins and Triple H walk in. The cameraman that went down earlier walks in with 2 police officers, and Triple H, he kind of inquires if he still wants to press charges. He was about to say otherwise, but Rollins was very forceful in telling him, hey, he asked you a question. Now,
dude, he slapped him. Like, how is Dean Ambrose punching him that much worse than Rollins backhanding him?
And I think besides that, if you were really competent police, can't you read the room?
Yeah, that's another thing, too.
The tension, hey, buddy, is this guy coercing you or anything? Yes, please, it was all him. They have footage. Book him. Wait, I'm the face of the WWE. You can't do this to me. I'm Seth Rollins.
I'm Seth Rollins.
God, I hate when heels do
I
that
can do this. Ha, ha.
Oh, that cackle in the back of the police car, which didn't even happen, so why the hell am I talking about it? So, yeah.
No, because you're imagining it. You're literally fantasy booking this stuff in your mind and reacting to it as it gets booked.
I know, I have major issues, but, yeah, the cops take Dean Ambrose into custody. I'm sure he's been quite used to the feeling of those handcuffs, and Ambrose is loaded in the back of the police van, and the authority just laughs and celebrates, because, yeah, we got him, guys! We got him! And the laughter continues, because the only thing more laughable than this is King Barrett's push, as he goes one-on-one against Ryback next.
His push, a.k.a. losing?
Yeah, by push, I mean clearly down a flight of stairs. Because, yeah, hell of a lot of good that crown's doing you. Ryback had injured ribs, which would actually make, for the first time, the wasteland somewhat useful, because I think it kind of impacts that whole area. The impact kind of reverberates throughout that whole area. Doesn't get the win. Ryback is able to lift up all that humanity and hit a shell shock for the victory. So, yeah, Barrett, way to really establish dominance in that kingdom. Good God.
He doesn't need to be dominant. He's the king. He can get his peasants to do his fighting for him.
Well, he might, want to start to, because if it's relying on himself, that win.
But that's the thing. He's got the fighting spirit. Just because he doesn't win all the time doesn't mean he doesn't like fighting.
Well, that'd be great if he was a babyface.
It's like video games. There are some video games that I'm horrible at, but I still enjoy playing them.
Yeah, but remember, you did beat the computer in NBA Jam. That's the only victory that matters.
Don't remind me.
But you did it, though!
Yeah, but it was once, and it was after, a billion tries, and I'm still waiting for you to pull it off, by the way.
I never will. I never will. But, away from that depressing subject, yeah, Ryback gets the win, guys, yeah!
Ryback won a match!
Oh, God, I actually could really get behind him being Intercontinental Champion, but I'm not even going to say more about that, because preview and predictions this Saturday.
Ryback is the foregone conclusion, maybe?
Maybe. Come on, people. you know better. We have an intelligent subscriber base. You can figure this out. But Triple H and
See, but
Steph...
that's the thing, though. The intelligent subscriber base might think that I'm talking about someone that I'm not.
Maybe.
There are 3 different guys in this match that might be my foregone conclusion, but you'll never know.
Look at you massaging that intrigue into the conversation.
Is Sheamus in this match?
Yeah, he is.
What about Neville?
No, unfortunately.
What about Rusev?
Yes.
About Bray Wyatt?
No.
Luke Harper?
No.
Who else is in this match other than Sheamus and...
Oh, God. We went through this last week.
So it's Sheamus, Rusev, R-Truth, Stardust.
Not Stardust, no. Sheamus, Rusev, Ryback, Ziggler,
R-Truth,
and Barrett.
Oh, so literally all the 3 matches that we had tonight were the 6 people.
Yeah.
Because we had R-Truth versus Rusev.
Right.
We had
Ryback versus Barrett just now.
Ryback, yeah, that, and then we had Sheamus versus Ziggler.
Exactly.
Maybe Ziggler's my foregone conclusion.
Maybe. Again, that hype. So
maybe Barrett being the king of the ring and all is my foregone conclusion. Don't you laugh?
The only thing impressive about that was your delivery. It wasn't, I'd say it was DiGiorno, but that wouldn't even work. But anyway, Triple H and Stephanie are backstage. And they talk about how Ambrose is, getting processed in central booking. So there's no way he's going to be able to make it in time to sign that contract, which means our plan worked to perfection. So then the cast of Entourage walks in and, they kind of joke around a little bit. And ultimately, I think the guy's name is Turtle.
His name doesn't matter.
Yeah, none of them matter. And he talks about Ronda Rousey and WrestleMania and how Stephanie's arm's feeling, and he wondered if Ronda Rousey, was legitimately close to breaking it. And Stephanie just gives them a look like, way to put a turd in the punch bowl, guys. It was going so well, and you had to bring that up. Entourage
I know,
realized,
right? There was perfectly good rat poison in that punch.
It's actually funny that one of the guys was named Turtle, because after that remark, things totally became awkward, Turtle, and they immediately, showed themselves out.
10 out of 10.
Thank you.
Deserve it.
And after that, we get Stardust versus Neville. Really not much to say here. I mean, it should be noted. The only noteworthy thing that I would want to say, 2 noteworthy things. One, Bo Dallas was kind of scouting this match. He was at ringside. And B, Stardust was working over the knee of Neville a little bit in this match, so he's going to be carrying that injury in over to Chamber, because he is going to be having a one-on-one match with Bo Dallas.
Am I the only one really frustrated by the amount of kayfabe injuries we got going on right now between Ryback and Neville?
I only say yes because I'm used to it at the Chamber event. It seems like one superstar now, in this case 2.
See, but to me, it always feels to me like all of the injuries that revolve around the Elimination Chamber happen afterwards, not beforehand.
No, dude. There have been injuries, going in before. I mean, and the only reason I know that, oddly enough, is because John Morrison always walked in with one. I don't think he ever entered a chamber, kayfabe-wise, healthy to compete. And yeah, it just seems like always somebody is always not ready to go, but they show up and they tear the house down and do whatever.
That's hilarious.
So, yeah, it really is. But Neville does get the win after a red arrow.
Well, and you told me Neville's not even in the thing, so he's not even. We don't even have to worry about him getting hurt.
Exactly. He's just going against Bo Dallas. NXT feud revisited. Bo gets in the ring. And he talks about, just tells Neville, all you got to do is Bo leave. And then he starts, attacking him, drop kicking the injured knee, and just really picking it apart.
And that's a match that's going to happen on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it could be a good match. I like their feud on NXT, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would argue that Bo Dallas' best match ever might have been that match.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? The only thing I'm grateful for this match on 2 fronts, because A, I feel like it cools Neville down a little bit because you don't want to push him too fast. I feel like they're really handling him wonderfully, even with these kinds of matches in between. And B, it gives Bo Dallas something to do. Because he's such a great heel when you afford him the necessary resources, to kind of put it in action, that being, screen time, matches, mic time preferably. 'Preferably. And it's just great to see him in a little mini program here now with Neville. So I'm looking forward to this.
And I think Yeah.
After that, the Entourage guys are just talking to all the divas when Zack Ryder shows up. And the Entourage guys say, we got an idea, Ryder, for you to do something in Nassau Coliseum. And they go in the locker room because it's all a hush-hush secret plan. And no girls allowed! And they close the door and they do all that. So, yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, really, they shut the door in their faces. Like, they left a conversation that we're going just to do something with Zack Ryder. Like, I'd feel offended.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to stir up any bad memories, guys, but this entire segment reminded me of the guest host era.
Yeah, Ashton was even telling that to me in conversation. He was not.
All we really needed was to add Santino and Kozlov to the mix, and it would have been complete.
Yeah, really.
Maybe Chris Masters cameo.
Yeah. Doing that.
Bella Twins in a hot tub with the special guest hosts.
Yeah, definitely. You need that.
Maybe Chris Jericho shows up to play a game show with them.
All the while looking sour-faced because he's better than all these neophytes and whatever other word he wanted to use.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, germ incubators. That was another one he liked to use. But
what
yeah,
was it? Germ incubators. That's right.
Yeah. But we go from that, whatever Zack Ryder's going to do, to Dolph Ziggler versus Sheamus. Kind of a rubber match, I guess, because Ziggler won at Extreme Rules, Sheamus won at Payback, so this is the third one-on-one encounter. Ultimately, a solid back and forth. It seems like Ziggler's closing in on the win, but Rusev comes out. He eats a super kick, but he did what he came there to do. That was to distract Ziggler long enough for Sheamus to hit the bro kick. Sheamus gets the win. And, after that, Rusev enters the ring. It's worth noting, too, that Lana had come out prior to all this to watch Ziggler's matchup. So then Rusev really puts the boots to Ziggler, and then he locks him in the Accolade looking directly at Lana. So I kind of like that whole camera work there, that whole scenery, and he's just screaming, kiss him now, and Lana's just kind of staring at him. And, Rusev just moves past her, kind of giving her an icy stare, and then Lana does kind of check on Ziggler. So that's pretty much that whole segment. So now Ziggler, I guess we really can't say that his feud with Sheamus is resolved until Chamber because they're going to be meeting up again, and now he has to worry about Rusev. So it'll be interesting. Will Ziggler overcome these odds, or will one of these behemoths just run roughshod over him? Only time will tell.
Yeah.
After that, we go to the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge. I'm going to level with you, dude. Actually, no. You know what? I forgot. He doesn't really do his American crap here. Cena actually cuts a good promo in my estimation. I was getting ready to say,
this promo was more about selling Elimination Chamber than Let's Go America.
I loved it, too, because I know you were concerned, Ashton, because it was Memorial Day, and we're just thinking, oh, man, nuclear levels, America about to happen right here. But I loved it. He talks about the whole, kind of history of, let's go Cena sucks, and the different sections of people. And, to the Cena sucks people, they've been getting behind every hopeful over the years, every challenger that, Cena has faced, and now a new one has emerged that really believes he can do it, in Kevin Owens. And instead of chanting, Cena sucks, there'll be a new chant, fight Owens fight. But fight Owens fight does not mean win Owens win. And Cena pretty much more or less says that he is going to overcome those odds. He will beat Kevin Owens, and he's going to see if Kevin Owens can finish a fight. Because, John Cena already knows that he can start one, but Cena's going to put to the test if Kevin Owens can finish one. As if, to Ashton's point, him powerbombing Sami Zayn on the hard part of an apron at Unstoppable wasn't really putting the punctuation on that fight. So I really loved how he put Kevin Owens over here, though. I loved how he really kind of sold this pay-per-view. It was almost like Paul Heyman-esque in a way, like how he sold the show. Because it's like, hey, if you order Elimination Chamber on the network, all of you people that hate me and say Cena sucks, you get to back a new guy, and you know that this new guy can kick my ass. And I think Cena did really a fantastic job here. I give him so much crap a lot of the time for his promos that it would be unfair for me not to talk about when he does, well. And this was a strong moment for Cena here in my estimation. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you really do kind of have to take into account the fact that it is John Cena, and I just appreciate that he didn't go on a long pro-American tangent here. We get that it's, Memorial Day. I guess that he felt as though the Go America quotient or quota, I guess it would be, had been met for the day with the opening video package and then the tolling of the bell and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Then he says, let's get the U.S. Open Challenge started.
And we were thinking about it. We had the recorder up, and we were getting ready to record live reactions, but then the cast of Entourage came out, and we were like, oh, this isn't going to happen.
Yeah. Because, and I had even kind of called this, too, in conversation with you, that Zack Ryder was going to answer the call, and ultimately he does. Now, this is something we can really gloss over because it was really nothing. The only noteworthy things, Zack Ryder had an unprettier at one point, Cena kicked out. He even got the Rough Rider again, Cena kicked out. Zack Ryder got
for a 450.
He went for a 450. That's how desperate he got. Cena moved out of the way, hit the AA, and Zack Ryder, there's a pecking order that Zack Ryder is lower than Sami Zayn and pretty much virtually everybody in this challenge, save for Kane, because he couldn't kick out of the first AA. He got pinned after it, and Zack Ryder lost. Cena shows Ryder respect after the matchup. Entourage raises Ryder's hands, and everybody's just kind of raising hands up. Cena's still in the ring when Zack Ryder and Entourage leave, and then he turns around and Kevin Owens kicks him in the gut, throws him against the ropes, and snap power bombs him again. Oh my God, I'll never get tired of that. I'll never get tired of just seeing Kevin Owens dominate. And then for the second straight time, picks up the NXT Championship and then stomps on the U.S. title while he just laughs. Oh man. But here's the really cool part, Ashton, right? Because we go from that and we pan backstage, and Stephanie makes no bones about being impressed with Kevin Owens. Like, she says that he's impressive and he's almost scary. And she says Triple H knows how to pick him. And Triple H says, there's talent that just, they see opportunity and they take it. And he was kind of looking at Seth Rollins, and Rollins says, hey, I've known Owens for a long time, but he kind of downplays him a little bit. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, because I'm still the present and the future. Talk about being subtly insecure there, Seth.
Dude, do you have any idea how much I hope that this leads to Kevin Owens becoming the guy for the Authority and Seth Rollins playing the jealous role?
Dude, and what a babyface turn that would ultimately be for Rollins, I think.
Well, I don't know if you've heard it or not, but there are a lot of rumors going around that one of Rollins' next few opponents is going to be Triple H.
Yeah, I read that a few days ago, and I'm certainly intrigued by
it's
the possibilities.
It's like Rollins' next few opponents, I think it was like Reigns, Lesnar, and Triple H.
Interesting. We'll see how they get there, because, you know how I felt. I never thought that Rollins would be this amazing of a heel. My thing always was, yeah, that guy is top babyface written all over him.
Right.
And if they build him to that point, whether at the expense of Triple H, Owens, maybe he fights his heart out against Lesnar for whatever reason, even though I will say I doubt that possibility. I just want to clarify. I'm just spitballing here. However they get there, I think it's going to go over so well, because I'm just loving what he's doing now as a heel, and he's got the friction with Kane that's kind of being downplayed now. I think maybe, I don't know if they squashed it or not, but new tensions are going to emerge eventually, and Kevin Owens may be the cause of that. Again, Stephanie made no bones about being really impressed with Kevin Owens, and I love that. I love that, they didn't pass over him. They looked at it, and you can almost tell kind of the gears turning. They kind of did it with Orton every time he had a title defense. Well, Randy, we may have to reconsider your position as the face of the WWE. So, what, Rollins is immune from that kind of treatment? I don't think so. So, we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's pretty much that. And Renee tries to get an update on Dean Ambrose's contract situation, but Stephanie says, she doesn't have one. And he still has a chance, to sign the contract, but he's got the end of the night, and it's just not looking likely.
Telling you, man, Renee doing that recon work. She wanted to find out what the deal was for her man so that she could help him get out.
Props to our friend Jordan on TWitWoW, because he had the best comment about the whole thing. Like, Renee staying behind and doing interviews about her boyfriend rather than bailing him out. Work comes first. I loved it. I died. So, yeah. Great job there. And I love Renee. She's just amazing.
She's great, yeah.
We go from that to the Bella Twins on commentary, and I really don't mean to hate. I really don't. It's just they're so bad as faces. I wish they'd be heels again, but It's whatever. It's Tamina Snuka versus Paige,
and Tamina Snuka botches everything.
But I'll tell you what, she gets the win. Naomi distracts Paige, gets a cheap shot in. Tamina gets a big Samoan drop. And, she gets the win over Paige. I've actually got quite a few thoughts about this, and I'm dying to say I'm here, but again, all going to be for preview and predictions. But after the matchup, Paige is kind of treated as an afterthought because Nikki Bella stands up, and she's having a stare down with Naomi, so we're going back to this now, and Paige is kind of laying on the canvas like, oh, what the hell just happened? So, yeah, Tamina's proving to be quite the profitable muscle for Naomi, putting aside her actual in-ring work, which, is really lost a step. I don't know whatever happened, but I remember just being such a big fan, and then her work just got so bad. Maybe it was always that way, and I just never saw it, but I just seen a huge drop in quality.
I think that you were just kind of so enamored with the look and the powerhouse moves that she can pull off that you just didn't really click that she's as bad as she is for you.
I'll have to go back and watch her older stuff because I almost want to attribute it to injuries maybe, but I'll have to go back and see because, yeah, there's definitely been a step down. But yeah. I'll tell you what, though, Naomi's stepping up, son. Yeah. But hopefully.
I'm so, why would Paige lose this match?
Dude, I feel like whatever I say, I'd really want to say premium predictions, but, I really don't think.
I guess here's my thing. You've got a triple threat match, Divas Championship match on Sunday, right?
Right, of course.
And you have somebody that's not even in that match beat somebody that is.
Again,
So does this mean that it should be Tamina, Naomi, and Nikki Bella rather than Paige, Naomi, and Nikki Bella?
If you want the honest truth, I feel like potentially whatever the outcome is, that's how I'll put it, so I'm not giving away too much. Tamina may be the end game to get pushed here. Because she, they've been really kind of portraying her as, really dominant. I'm not saying I agree with it or disagree with it. I'm just saying that's where I see it going. Because for her to beat Paige...
Isn't that how you saw it going for the AJ Lee thing, too, though?
True. And I'll admit that didn't work out, the way I thought it would. But the idea that Tamina Snuka has pinned Paige here, when Paige is the one with the championship matchup this Sunday, and momentum, kayfabe-wise means everything.
So do you think that, a little bit inside, yeah, you know what? Screw it. It's the Divas. People don't listen to our preview prediction for our Divas predictions. Do you think that Paige wins and then Tamina has, the right to face her first because of the victory?
No, dude. I'm still sticking by my guns. I say Naomi wins on Sunday, and she's going to have her run, but I think tensions are going to build between her and Tamina because Tamina's just been imposing her will and been, a sizable part of Naomi's success, and they're going to come to blows. That's ultimately how I see this playing out. I think the end game is making Tamina this monster diva babyface and finally getting a run with the Divas Championship, but at Naomi's expense. Because keep in mind, dude, that the narrative right now between Naomi and Tamina is that they've both been kind of held down. They're both these two talented women that haven't gotten fair opportunities. Well, is Naomi really going to care about that once she's gotten hers? And then Tamina's going to probably be looking at her like, well, I thought this was a team thing. What about me? And then it's going to blow up. And then I think Tamina's going to take the title off Naomi. That's just kind of my mindset with the whole thing.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, this isn't the NXT women. We can spoil some stuff, right?
Yeah, I guess we could take some liberties with that, but we'll see if my mind changes come Sunday, or Saturday rather. But I doubt it for the moment because I've put a lot of thought into this, so that's where I see it going. Back from the break, we get the New Day in the ring.
Oh, they're so good.
Oh man, I love it. Pretty much still complaining about having to defend against 5 other teams in the Elimination Chamber. Crowd
This felt like a really commercial-heavy segment.
Yeah.
Because, they come out and they cut their promo, and then we get a 3-on-10 handicap match, and then we get the beatdown at the end. And I feel like there were, 2 different commercials in that span of time.
Well, there were definitely commercials when tag teams were making entrances. I don't know if there was a commercial after that or if they just let the segment finish out. But yes, to Ashton's point, Kane does come out and he says, that's not what's unfair because everybody has equal odds in that chamber. It's, what you're doing tonight that's unfair because you're, doing this whole handicap match. And New Day just can't believe it. And really not much to say about this whole matchup.
You're right there, John.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Because all the teams start pouring in, and the ref calls for the bell, so the New Day actually gets the win. I want to emphasize that point. Power of positivity for the freaking win, literally. But all the teams, they continue brawling. primetime players. You see Darren Young get a gutbuster again on Kofi. Like, everybody's destroying everybody. Ultimately, though, like, it's just crazy dive moves, and Los Matadores, I think, do a senton over the rope, which takes out everybody in the end. But then New Day come back in the ring, and they're celebrating because, oh, look, we're the last team in the ring. And again, they get the DQ win. And then they're doing this whole stirring it up motion that I guess they've created. And I just still love these guys. And then the hilarity of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston picking up Big E in the whole celebratory stance. But then Tyson Kidd does a springboard dropkick to Big E, just collapsing everybody like they're a bunch of bowling pins. And then Cesaro spinebusters Xavier Woods, does the giant swing for, I believe, 8 revolutions.
You
Tyson
actually
Kidd
counted.
I did. Tyson Kidd does the drop kick to the head, and I love these guys together. I really do. I would not have any qualms if this is what either guy does, like, for the rest of their careers, even though I still want to see that Cesaro-Brock Lesnar matchup, though. So, yeah, just a great team, and, you know, I'm really looking forward to this chamber. And, oh, by the way, and I only say this because I don't know if anybody else was kind of in the dark like I was, it's if a member of a team gets eliminated, that entire team just goes to the back in the locker room. So it's not like, oh, one member gets eliminated and then the other member's got to fight valiantly for their team on their own. Nope, one and done. So that's how it all works. Very excited for this match of action. It has the potential to steal the show because of its uniqueness and just being a first time ever and everything, and the teams involved. I've got high hopes for this one. Yeah. Anything you want to say about any of this before we move on?
Telling you, this is the match I'm looking forward to most.
Absolutely.
It's this and obviously Owen Cena, but this match, man, all 6 of these tag teams can work.
Yeah.
I mean, New Day is great. Oh, that's another thing. I brought this up to you on the show. I wonder if they're going to have a storyline where Big E can't fit in the pod with another member of the New Day, so they're forced to make him sit out and only use Kofi and Xavier.
Yes, I'm so glad you remembered to bring that up because I wouldn't have, and I thought it was an excellent talking point. That could be, because here's the thing, on the face of it, right, and this is nothing against you, but on the face of it, somebody might hear it and be like, well, that sounds a bit preposterous, but it's the New Day, and they've got that heelish comedic element. So
yeah, and like I could just imagine Big E and Kofi trying to squeeze into the pod, and they don't realize that if you go in one at a time, you'll fit.
Right.
And they're just like trying to squeeze in, and then Big E's just like, I'm sorry, I can't. And then they try Xavier because he's slightly smaller than Kofi, and they really want Big E to be in this match, and he still just can't get through. So Big E stays out, and it's just Kofi and Xavier, left on their own. And I love it too. It fits so well because Big E really is kind of the almost the heavy of the New Day. He's like the bodyguard almost of the New Day, and he's the one that does kind of. He almost plays like the big casserole where he does the most damage when he gets on offense in these tag matches.
Right.
But if he's not available, and they have to replace him not only with another member of the New Day, but with the member that does the most talking and the least amount of backing it up. I just think it would be
right.
It would make for a great. Not only would it make for a great comedy, like a situational comedy segment, but it would make for a great excuse for them to get the titles back if they lose them.
That's very true. And I just feel like when you said it to me in conversation, the way you structured it and the way you presented it again here, again, I'm so glad you remember to bring it up. I think it does kind of add intrigue for how because they're already saying as is, right, how unfair it is. Well, imagine how unfair they're going to think it is if Big E can't fit into a pod.
Yeah.
So, like, given everything we've heard, the way the New Day is, like, everything you're saying makes sense. And if it happens, I will put you over massively on live reactions. Because you called this, like, not even from a mile away, son. You were, like, on a different continent from this thing, and you still called it. So if this happens, goddamn, that's going to be amazing. But yeah, I mean, Kidd and Cesaro stand tall here. I've got my musings, but again, like, I've thought so much about every matchup, so I'm really looking forward to discussing it with you, like, all on Saturday. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, we get to our main event segment. The Authority comes out, and, they all talk about how Ambrose is a criminal. It's worth noting that we do get to see exclusive footage. Apparently, Rollins did shove the cameraman into Ambrose, and I love it, too, because he shoves him, and then he quickly just shuffles off away from the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I did what I had to do, and now I'm out. So, yeah, you have Rollins just talking about how Ambrose is a criminal, and it doesn't matter the footage that you saw, because, Ambrose still assaulted that guy and he's where he deserves to be. And they all kind of take turns saying, yeah, Ambrose is just a delinquent, a lunatic. And by the way, Seth Rollins called Dean Ambrose's nickname Lunatic Fringe a stupid nickname. So I guess him and Ashton shared a brain there for a second, because I know, Ashton, you haven't been the biggest fan of that nickname either. So that was pretty funny.
I definitely could do without it.
And so, yeah, they're all taking turns, crapping on Ambrose. And they're getting ready, I guess, to announce the new plans for Chamber, presumably that Rollins would have the night off. And Roman Reigns' music hits. And here's the interesting thing, right? I don't know what got into my head, but when they're like, Seth Rollins will, I thought Roman Reigns was going to have his music hit, and he was going to beat down everybody, and he was going to sign the contract. I don't know what made my mind go there, but considering that Kane doesn't want him in the Money in the Bank ladder match, Roman Reigns may be getting a bit desperate. But that didn't happen, because he starts beating on the Authority. Numbers Game does catch up to him. He actually falls to a Kane chokeslam, which I know shocked Ashton and shocked me as well.
What shocked me was that he got hit with it in the first place.
Right, yeah.
Because he's so good at, when Kane lifts him up for a chokeslam, landing on his feet behind Kane and then giving him like a slap to the face or something.
I'm actually shocked that Kane didn't take a second or two to reflect and be like, oh my god, I hit it. I hit it, guys. Yeah. I hit it. Yeah. Oh god, the spear. Oh god, my ribs. But, then you see, the camera pans backstage. We see, a big truck kind of driving through. Ambrose is in police gear, and he's got two, what is it, Billy sticks, Ashton, is what they're called?
Billy, that works.
Yeah, you guys would know them as clubs or nightsticks.
Billy Club, I think, is the name that I'm most familiar with.
Right. And he comes out, and he uses them as equalizers against the Authority.
Back when the Big Boss Man used one, they just called it a nightstick.
Yeah. And
but
Rollins...
freaking Dean Ambrose is not a knight.
Exactly.
Then again, neither was Big Boss Man. Never mind, just move on.
Yeah, exactly. Rollins takes out Ambrose, though, momentarily. He looks like he's going to use a Billy stick on Ambrose, but then Roman Reigns takes it from him and disarms him. And Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose pretty much level the playing field. The Authority clears out. Dean Ambrose affixes his signature to that contract. So he made it in time. He beat the deadline. So we are going to have Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins at Chamber. I will say that, while I did enjoy the stuff that Ambrose and Rollins and the Authority all did together tonight, it's not that it was bad. I kind of wish we wouldn't have done all this kidding around of will Ambrose get his title shot, because we all knew he was. I just wish that maybe, Rollins and Ambrose, I don't know, could have had some face-to-face with them. There's so much history there, even with their prior rivalry before the WWE World Heavyweight Championship got involved. It would have been nice if they could just both talk openly about that. I remember one segment from the John Cena Edge feud where John Cena was on the cutting edge, and they talked about their whole rivalry, and that led to their last man standing match at Backlash that year. I want to say the year was 2009. And I would love to see Ambrose and Rollins just have a similar segment. Maybe even name-dropping the Indies or FCW or something, just going all through it. But no, they wanted to, create that suspense. Will Ambrose get his title shot? Clearly he does, and that's how Raw goes off the air. So again, the term I like to use is a middle-of-the-road Raw, and that's what this was, but I think it achieved its objectives of building up to Chamber. Ashton, is there anything else you want to say about this main event segment?
No, I love that it's basically a throwback, because this is so similar to when Austin got arrested and you didn't think you were going to see him for the rest of the night, and then during the main event segment he comes out in a Zamboni, except it was rather than a Zamboni, because Ambrose, isn't that kind of badass. He came out in an ambulance, or not even an ambulance, was it? It was the police car that they took him in.
Yeah, I believe so.
So, even cooler, because it's I just imagine Renee sent him on his phone the video of Rollins pushing the cameraman into him, and he was like, hey, policeman, check this out. And the policeman was like, oh my god, we've made a grave mistake. Take the truck.
Oh, that's exactly how I'm imagining that conversation now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess with that said, let's roll right on to our next segment, high spots and low shots. You know what? It's tough to pick a low shot this week, but I gotta say, my low shot is going to be Dolph Ziggler. Because not only did he lose his match tonight against Sheamus, which, I guess for Dolph was a pretty significant match because A, it's momentum for the chamber, but B, it's maybe finally settling your beef with Sheamus. You were each 1-1, apiece going into this thing, and Rusev cost you that matchup, which leads me to my second point. Despite the fact that you've got Lana, which really I think will always make you consistently a high spot, you've got two big behemoths that you've got beef with now, because Sheamus will always take a chance to, give you your lumps, and now Rusev's looking to beat the tar out of you, all within the confines of the chamber, so it's not a good time for Ziggler. I mean, commentary even said it best. Dolph won it in, but now it's Rusev who gets to decide when Dolph leaves, so not a good time for the show-off.
No, not at all, and I definitely see why you would go there. I think Milo shot... I think it's going to be Bad News Barrett, because, he's supposed to be this king, and he got beat by an injured Ryback.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Ryback is on this hot streak either. He just lost to Bray Wyatt at the last pay-per-view, and now, not only does he have these injured ribs, but he manages to beat Barrett. Wow.
A healthy Barrett, no less.
Yeah. And Barrett was even toying with him at one point. He was like, come on!
Yeah, I mean, and to your point, not only did he lose to Bray at Payback, but he lost to Sheamus the week prior in a one-on-one match. So here Barrett could have probably gotten an easy win here. I mean, injured Ryback, on a downturn and everything, just could not come together. Barrett's that king of the ring, man. It ruins people. I'm almost going to cry for the winner now the next time we do this tournament, just remembering its history.
Yep.
But that leads me to my high spot. You know what? Just because I'm in such a good mood whenever we do TWitWoW, I'm going to make an honorary high spot of Zack Ryder, because now he can officially buy the I survived while Kevin Owens was in the building t-shirt, because I was really hoping he'd get apron powerbombed, but that didn't happen. So my legitimate high spot, though, I think along those same lines, is Kevin Owens. He comes in for the second straight week and lays Cena out.
Yep.
Kevin Owens has been on the roll of his freaking life, because what I love about Kevin Owens as a heel, it's not about cheating to win. It's not about being cowardly with losses, because he's dissolved the line between wins and losses. Victory to him is if he hurts people sufficiently to his content. And I love that, because I don't think he's going to be focused on beating Cena, potentially. Maybe he will be, because Cena's the big dog in the yard. I think Kevin Owens will call it a successful day if he makes his back eat that apron via a power bomb. So we'll see what happens. But Kevin Owens is my high spot tonight.
Yeah, all right. I think I'm going to kind of take the obvious choice here. My high spot's going to be Dean Ambrose.
Okay, very good,
Anytime somebody's in a segment or a storyline where they remind you of Stone Cold, that's like an easy, whatever the opposite of get out of jail free is, that gives you an automatic high spot, that's what it is.
Absolutely, and I mean, hell, just to kind of substantiate that pick, I mean, Ambrose was against the clock. He had to get the contract signed, and he made the deadline. I mean, right on the second, right when the logo was showing up, made his deadline, so Ambrose is getting his championship match officially now. He went through the proper means, as I'm sure the authority would like to say. So definitely a worthwhile high spot. All right, we made our picks there. Moving on to our next segment, Raw Request. Considering that Raw is going to be, the Elimination Chamber fallout, and we start on the road to Money in the Bank, my Raw request is going to be very pay-per-view specific. I would love to see qualifying matches for who's going to get in the Money in the Bank ladder match. I feel like for the last few years, it's just been like, oh, these guys are announced because maybe they're impressing us or something, or they're doing stuff. I would like formal qualifying matches so that you get the build-up to the pay-per-view, you're assembling the matchup, and you kind of give these guys momentum going into the matchup, even those that we know have no shot of winning. So I would really like to see the return of qualifying matches for the briefcase ladder match. Yeah. That's my very specific Raw request.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I agree. My Raw request is, if John Cena is on Raw this coming week, I want the John Cena United States Championship Invitational to continue.
Definitely.
And the reason that I felt like I had to add the if John Cena's on Raw is because we know what Kevin Owens does to people.
Yeah, we know what Kevin Owens does to people, absolutely, and I think I even raised similar concerns to you while we were talking, so I think our minds are definitely in similar places. Can John Cena survive Kevin Owens? And yes, people, I asked that question very sincerely because Kevin Owens is a monster.
You know what? I'm gonna change my Raw request up just a little bit. I'm gonna say I want the U.S. title to become basically the WWE's version of a television championship. I want it to be defended on every episode of Raw, regardless of who's holding it.
Yes. Yeah. See, that's the one kind of sour part about when John Cena drops that belt, because the question becomes, well, who's going to carry that mantle of, weekly open challenges? If a heel does it, a heel has no motivation to do that. It wouldn't even make any sense. It would be
Kevin
contrary.
Owens would, though, because he's all about fighting the best and fighting everyone.
He would, but after stepping on the U.S. title twice, he doesn't give a crap about that championship anyway.
So maybe he would fight in an open challenge every week, not for the title, and then if somebody finally beats him, he would put the title on the line.
Maybe. I guess we have some possibilities, but I think that's really, trying to grasp it, trying to salvage this thing, which, I understand it's been so good. I just don't see it really happening, particularly for heels and baby phases. Baby phases, it becomes more likely. That my pick right now is Neville to end John Cena's U.S. Championship reign. I'm sticking with it despite this Kevin Owens emergence and any other NXT roster members that could answer the call. But I don't really know if Neville would do it either, because that's not really within his personality. He's a babyface, and I guess all babyfaces have this indomitable spirit. But I don't know. It's just going to suck to see the weekly defenses end when John Cena drops the belt. So I really do love your Raw request. I will wholeheartedly co-sign to that. Which leaves us with one segment left. Everybody's favorite and mine, 30-second hot seat. So, Ashton, what do you got for me this week?
Well, as usual, we are on a go-home show to a pay-per-view, so I'm not going to give you a WWE main roster-related 30-second hot seat. So what I am going to do is Lucha Underground, all right?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, first of all, what do you think this death match is going to be? Second of all, how do you think Mil Muertes is going to win? Because I feel like it would be hilarious for me to ask who's going to win. And third of all, after this match, do you think we'll ever see Phoenix again in the temple? You have 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
Okay, I'm actually going to have to give due credit to one of our listeners, Ecstasy, I believe 69 are the numbers in his name, because he said death match would be like a last man standing match. And you know what? I think he's right for whatever reason, so I'm going to go with him there. That sounds like a good possibility. I think Mil Muertes will win after some ridiculous table spot, maybe off the roof of Cueto's office. I don't know. Maybe he'll literally try and kill Phoenix, and that'll be how he gets the win. And yes, Phoenix will show up in Lucha Underground again, thanks to the medallion. Whatever that medallion is, the power of it is going to help Phoenix come back to Lucha Underground.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that he won that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's like a one-up mushroom.
I know, right? Okay, that didn't go as planned, but at least I have the medallion. Bring me back to life. Okay, I got one more chance at this. I'm going to beat Mil Muertes, and then he goes on to potentially beat Mil Muertes, but good luck with that.
Nobody sings Evanescence songs in the temple. It's all Mariachi El Bronx and other mariachi bands.
That reference, though. With that said, is there anything else you want to say about this Raw?
No, it was a decent show. Not great, not bad, just slightly above average.
Absolutely, completely agree. So with that said, guys, this has been Raw. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to comment and subscribe on YouTube. What did you think of Raw this week? How hyped are you currently for Elimination Chamber? Do you feel like this Raw did a good job of really selling you on Chamber? What matchup are you looking forward to most? Be sure to take the conversation over to Tweetoff, an amazing pro wrestling group on Facebook. You're going to want to join us this Sunday because we do our Elimination Chamber predictions. You may want to get in on all the fun there. If you want to keep the conversation strictly to myself and my cohort and commentary here, Ashton's got you covered. He made a TWitWoW subreddit. Go check it out. Some of the feedback we've gotten on there already has been amazing. You guys are wonderful. And we will see you again for the Wednesday Night Wars. We got back on regularly scheduled programming, our NXT review. But before that, our Lucha Underground review, where building off that 30-second hot seat, the question looms. Can Phoenix survive the new and improved Mil Muertes, or will he finally be put to his death? Until then, tune in Peace out.